I'm so obsessed with this ooh la la hey thing in my mind.
What?
Ooh la la hey, ooh la la hey. It's a.
What is that?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dad It Yourself ZA. I'm Jandré Swart. This is Shaun Erasmus, and welcome to episode number 3. This is now a thing. We've done episode 0, the pilot. We've done 1, we've done 2, and now obviously we're at 3. It would be just weird if we had to now jump to 5. I mean, what are we, Microsoft? So, yeah, I want to just take a quick moment to thank everyone for listening and watching the last one, especially to our podcast listeners who it's proven to be majority Spotify. Well, not majority, it's 100% Spotify. So thanks to you guys of Spotify. But yeah, other than that, Shaun, how's it been the last week since we've last chat? Well, not since we've last chatted, but since we last podcast.
Yeah, let's pretend like we only talk when we're on here.
I mean, that would be interesting. This podcast would be like 4 hours long.
Yeah, that will become a problem.
Yeah.
Good, I suppose. Work is work, and I'm trying to get healthy again. I'm trying to get some running in, and I'm trying what makes the most sense with having IVs to do it in the morning. But that means to like wake up at 5, and what happens most mornings is I wake up 10 past 5, and then I kind of just lie in the bed, and like 20 minutes will go by, and then it becomes hit or miss. Like I've either fallen asleep again, or then I actually get up at like 8:30 and go. So I only done it like, I think I've only gotten it right 2 or 3 times in the last 2 weeks, but I'll get there.
Yeah.
Limited time obviously with Ivy, because I don't want to exercise after work. I want to get home and spend some time with her.
Yeah.
Before she goes to bed.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, like I think me and you are both feeling the crunch in the engineering world currently. Like I told you, I got home and took a power nap from 7 to 8 just to be able to sit here.
Rock that while you still can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I miss those.
No, so as far as getting healthy from my side, I pretty much walk the dogs a minimum of 3 to 4 times a week, maybe 5. We've got like a little route. It's not far. It's 1.8 kilometers, but it's getting difficult with a 30-week pregnant wife to do.
I'll bet.
To do the trips with. Sometimes it's fine, and sometimes just out of nowhere it's.
And how are your dogs on the lead? Do they walk nicely, or do they pull until they get tired?
So, Alfie, there's like a part when we begin where he pulls to electric box to go and mark his spot. And then we walk through the park, and he's pretty much loose lead from the get-go.
Okay.
That's how he's been trained. The other one, Nova, on the other end, she's got 1 speed. It's stand still and go. It's like, 2 speeds, stand still and go. And yeah, you pretty much need to wait for her to like burn out till she walks nicely on the lead. But what I've recently learned, which freaks her out, and for some reason when I do it, she walks nicely on the lead. And I don't want to say it too loud because I don't want to give her a little heart attack. But in a Batman voice, I just say Norvs. But it sounds something like this. Norvs. And it's like, I will walk nicely.
Have you tried it in a not Batman voice, or How do you know it's the Batman voice that
No,
works?
no, it's definitely the Batman voice because
Uh,
at night, if I just say Norvs, then she runs to bed to go and sleep. So, like
Fair enough.
my bed, not her own bed.
Why
Which,
would she? Why would any dog sleep in their own bed? That's crazy.
yeah, we are still working on that. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
cool.
that cool.
So,
That's the catch-up segment.
yeah, otherwise this might go on a bit long.
Yeah.
We can chat afterwards. So this episode is called, and I hope I don't mess it up, the Guided Guide to Finding Your Dad Guide. Okay, so
That's right. The guided
basically,
guide to finding your dad guide.
it's Jandré and I are going to share a couple of things that we used, sources, I guess, of information and education that we use just to sort of help prepare ourselves in the weeks leading up to to your due dates, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it comes in various forms. So we'll cover a couple of different things.
So yeah, obviously, Shaun, the one I think that you focus or will focus on is the obvious one: running to the bookstore, or pop by like jumping online and trying to find a book. So I mean, that's the obvious one, is to get a book. So Shaun will discuss from his perspective the medias he's used. I use the much more lazy guy approach, where I mainly used internet and blogs and stuff. But yeah,
Slash the millennial approach.
yeah, but I mean, why would I want to listen? I mean, if I had to read a book, I would probably get an audiobook.
Yeah.
Like, my eyes are precious. You know how many people suffer from eye diseases from reading?
I don't think it's from reading. I think you just made that up.
No, no. It's like in the old days when the people used to sit with the candle, it would knock their eyes up. And you know, we're living in South
With a
Africa.
candle. Well, yeah, sure.
Load shedding.
Okay, fair enough. Fair point.
Let's
Touche.
pretend. let's pretend I don't have a backup inverter.
Okay. Don't need to rub it in.
I can hook you up. I've told you many times. Okay, but anyway, Shaun. So let's talk about your medias that you used, and as he's discussing it, I will throw over the screen some picture or something of it, and also everything discussed tonight will be linked below, so you can go and grab it if you feel that it's useful, from free to expensive. So Shaun, take us away.
Cool. So yeah, like you said, the most obvious one is the bookstore, right? And I mean, back pre-pandemic, I guess it would have been exactly that. You walk over to the bookstore and you go to, I guess, parenting, and you find something that kind of pops out. And nowadays, it's like you said, you just go shop online. You're gonna go click somewhere. You're gonna order it, and it's gonna arrive at your door. Or you're gonna go the digital route and go audiobook. I mean, pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the book I went with, I actually I read two, but the second one was more like advice. So I'm not going to go into that one here. But the one I would say the most useful one that I read is called The Expected Dad's Handbook. It's by Dean Bohm. I think you pronounce it Beaumont, or Beaumont. I think it's Beaumont. Yeah, very useful book. Basically, it's titled as All You Need to Know About Pregnancy, Birth, and Beyond. So it's kind of walks you the road to getting to, throughout the pregnancy, what to expect with your partner, and even up to the birth process, like, what's going to happen on that day, and then beyond that, what happens once the baby actually arrives, because that's a whole other thing. Everyone focuses so much on the baby that's coming and the pregnancy and the birth, and then you forget that, okay, the baby's going to arrive, but then what happens to the mom, what happens to the baby once they are here and they exist, because that's a whole other I don't even know what the word is for it, but it's a whole other
Experience.
Yeah, let's call it that. Yeah, so it's a pretty great book. I don't want to give away too much about it. I'm not much of a reader, I'll be honest. I think it's probably like the third or fourth book I've ever read in my life, other than from the school curriculum books that we were forced to read the highlights of.
Like Harry Potter.
And well, no, not Harry Potter. What did I read?
Our school
The
had
Great
Harry.
Gatsby.
Yeah, our school had
The
Harry
Great
Potter.
Gatsby. Yeah, you're a little bit younger, so you would have you would have had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and I even though I'm not a reader, like I just said, I made you have 9 months, right, to basically get through the book, which is exactly what I did. I think I started out very strong at around the point where we are talking now, like the 12-week. Last episode was about the 12-week mark. Kind of there, I did quite a lot of reading because you are in the moment and everything's all new and exciting. And then, if I'm honest, it like kind of faded out. And I can remember panicking in like the last month, getting to like month 8 and going like, I haven't even read half the book, and that I've it took me like 3 months to get the first half. I've only got a month left. Now what? So I remember absolutely powering through the last few chapters, going through everything. One of the really cool things in there was the 411 rule. It basically gives you like a guideline of how to handle the contractions and when exactly you should be going to the hospital. I found that to be very, very useful advice. Because I think one of the big, and we'll talk more about this later on, but one of the big things around the labor or the birth is to make sure that you keep your partner calm. So they must, you don't want that adrenaline to kick in at any point. So the calmer you can remain, the calmer your partner will remain, and that just helps the whole process. And that rule definitely helped because it's this very simple, easy guideline to remember. What else was there? Obviously, it spoke about what to expect when you go in, what's going to happen. Although, even though the book outlines it, nothing can truly prepare you for it, no matter how much you read, how much you see. And yeah, and then what, like a little bit beyond. So, like I said, the baby's arrived, and then we really need to think about what to do. Like, how do you assist your partner? Because especially as the husband, there's a lot that you can't do, especially in the early weeks. And it kind of, I think it touches on a little bit of how to handle that. Yeah, so I think that's enough said about the book for now.
Okay.
Like you said, we'll pop a link in the bottom if anyone wants to check it out.
Yeah.
I really recommend it. I would show it to you right now because I had a physical copy, but I actually handed it over to my brother-in-law, who's now in New Zealand. So I couldn't even get it back from him for this for this episode. New Zealand's not letting anybody in now.
No,
They've got like 3 cases in the whole of New Zealand. There's no ways they're letting a South African in.
Yeah, no. Look, but also look at the way that New Zealand has handled this whole thing. It's just
yeah, for sure,
brilliant. Yeah. So, what was the book like? The only form of media that you, or I don't want to say media, but like study material.
like the only source.
Let's call it study material that you went with.
So I'd say that for me at least, because obviously I've thought about this, I'd say there were 3 other sources. The most obvious other one was an app called, this is a little bit more millennial, but it's called Ovia, OVIA.
Okay.
And there's I think there are 3 different apps broken up into fertility, pregnancy, and then parenting.
Yeah.
Obviously the one I'm referring to now is the Ovia pregnancy app.
Okay.
This one was super cool because it gives you a weekly update, and it like goes all the way from like literally showing you the size of your baby's hands and feet on a scaled graph, like from like it shows you an outline of a hand of when the baby will be born, what kind of size you can expect versus what it is now. And like obviously in the first few weeks, it's literally this little speck inside of the outline. So it really like puts things into proportion. It also shows you a little diagram of like how the baby's like developing, and like you can see from initially they look like a peanut, and obviously the features start developing over time, and it's very cool to watch their progress. And then the most relative one is that it gives you like the size update. Obviously, your baby, like if you can pick a weekly day that it updates you, and it basically says this week your baby is the size of this, and like blueberry, strawberry, blah 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 blah.
Is that
and you can even pick,
Is that the same app that says like, how's mom doing? How's baby doing? I think it's like got like
yes,
okay. That's the one
yes,
that we use as well.
yes, exactly. So like, it talks about the what's happening to the baby and what's happening to the mom, like in the different stages. I don't know if you remember, but if we're referring back to our previous episode, that like 6 to 12 week period, or stage, that's obviously when there's lots of morning sickness and stuff. And it also talks you through that, and it tells you when you can expect the sort of peak of the worst morning sickness. You know, like, okay, mom, you've hit the worst. Placenta's developing, and it should, the baby becomes a little bit more self-sufficient in the feeding sense, and that's supposed to taper off the morning sickness. So it gives you like those little cues and bits of information. And the one thing I also really remember about it is that you can categorize what you wanted to make the size relative to. So you can say, obviously, if you say fruits and vegetables, it's things like I said, blueberries and strawberries. You can do animals, I think. So it like literally picks these random animals that it's relative to. And then you can have, I think the category is called random or other, something like that. And then it like picks like just these random objects. I know at one point it's like it becomes a toy soldier. And you're like,
size of a controller.
yeah. Yeah. So that's like a very cool app. And I can't remember, because obviously this was 3 years ago. I can't remember if it works with like a whole family sync thing, where you can both have the app and you both get the updates, or if it was Andrea sending me the updates when she got them every time. I'm not actually sure. I see it does work with on, at least on Apple, it works with Family Sync.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if it actually syncs the information and you can be linked as a parent. But yeah, I thought that was really fantastic, because it's just like it captures every week, and at least it's a talking point for you and your partner. You can go, okay, well, this is where we are this week. Okay. Yeah, so that was very cool. Then the third source would be a knock-on of that, like I've just said, to have that discussion with your partner. Like, they are the one going through the pregnancy. If they are anything like Andrea, like they've researched everything because she wants to know what's happening to her and to the baby, like well in advance. So I would kind of almost like, I mean, she would obviously openly tell me stuff, but I would also just ask, because she has this, that they have this like deep well of knowledge. You might as well tap into it because it's there. They've got it. You might as well get some of it. It's free of charge. And it just helps you like get a better understanding of each other and the gravity, I guess, of what's going on with your partner. Because I mean, let's make no mistake, being pregnant is intense for a woman. I mean, we'll never know what it really feels like, but you can see by the changes that they go through and how they struggle from time to time. Yeah, so that would be number 3. And then the fourth one is also pretty obvious. It's to hang out with other like newish dads. Obviously, you can chat to dads with slightly older kids too, because they've gone through it, but it's a little bit less, I would say, recent for them. So it's not as it's not as fresh in their minds maybe. So you want to talk to a dad of like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, maybe around that kind of range, and then kind of just talk about their experiences. Of course, everyone's experience will be different and will be unique. No one's is the same, but at least get a relative understanding of what you are in for. And yeah, I would say that was pretty much it. Those were the four sources that I made use of, I guess, to prepare myself and to educate myself about what was happening.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so from my side, all I've realized now from this conversation is that I've not nearly done enough reading on actual what to do during the the pregnancy. And
There's a book I can recommend for that.
so I took a more comical approach. So I knew that Nadine would do most of the research, and she would anyway tell me all of it. So every Sunday morning with the app, I get an update of how the baby's doing, how she's doing. Um, she's also got a book that she read. So we went with the idea to go and buy a book at like Bargain Books or something. But at that time when we went, there wasn't really anything I would say that we were interested in. I mean, the most obvious book is the OG of pregnancy books, and that is the What to Expect When Expecting. At least that series of books. And obviously there's a movie, but that's not really preparing you. In fact, if you watch that in the early stages, it just freaks you out because there's everything from a miscarriage to like twin birth in that movie. I don't know if you've ever watched it.
No thanks.
No, but it's got
so
like,
we got advised that like antenatal to not watch any videos, purely because their reasoning was that everybody's experience is different, so what's the point of watching somebody else's experience?
Yeah, okay, sure, but this is one of those movies like that Valentine's movie where it's like all these big actors and everybody's got a different story in it, and like Anna Kendrick plays in it, and I'm gonna lie if I tell anybody else's name, but I can't remember Anna Kendrick's. And yeah, but so anyway, I took the more comical approach, and I think it's our medical aid sent Nadine a book. And our medical aid is GEMS. It is the Government Employee Medical Scheme. I am not a government employee. I wish. Cyril, if you want to.
Extend it.
But anyway, so we got that little book and she's been reading it and enjoying it a lot. And the cool thing is the front page, if you look at the front of the book, why was my hands both up? If you look at the front of the book, it's the for mom part, and when you flip it over, it's like Japanese manga because then it's the dad part. There's like half of it's for mom, half of it's for dad.
That's cool.
So I still need to read my half, which I'll probably start tonight because now I'm starting to feel quite guilty. So we've got that. She also got a couple of other books from like friends, but that's more for the mom side. And then for me, at least, to just feel a little bit ease through this process, I started watching a YouTube channel called How to Dad. Now, disclaimer, by no means is this an actual channel teaching you on how to be a dad. It's a comical relief way of looking at things. The video that you will probably see a clip of it right now, that he is famous for is the How to Hold a Baby book. So
yeah, it's a goodie.
Yeah, so I watched like almost, I want to say most, like at least 90% of his videos. And even though it's comical, you do find some gems somewhere in between. And there was a point where I really wanted to buy myself something. So, because obviously Nadine's got the book, and Baby's got his first clothes already, and here I am with nothing. And I really
poor you.
Yeah, poor me. So on Black Friday, I decided. Well, it was before Black Friday. I sort of wanted to know, maybe this guy's got like a How to Dad shirt or something that I can import. That is a PC notification. I apologize for everybody that just heard that. Live one take. What can you do?
Exactly.
Anyway,
I only just remembered to put my PC and phone on silent just before this.
So I went onto his website in the hope that he had a merch store. He didn't. But he had links to a store that sold his books. And I was like, okay, cool, this guy's got 2 books. And it would probably be just like his videos that was put onto page with like some catchy words and like guides and stuff. And I remember looking at it and I thought to myself, oh, the first thing that happened was they didn't ship to South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
They shipped to Afghanistan, but not to South Africa.
Interesting.
Let that sink in. Thank you, Seppo.
Ship it straight past us.
Thank you, Seppo, for completely just destroying the faith in any country to trust you with postage coming into South Africa. Seppo is the South African post office. Anyway, for
South African postal office
for any fortunate non-South Africans watching. No, I'm just kidding. South Africa's
well,
great.
I did try and figure out what Zappo was. I've never heard anyone call it Zappo.
Oh yeah, it's a thing.
I was like, is this some like worldwide like WHO equivalent that has to do with parenting or? Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that acronym was supposed to be.
But anyway, so on Black Friday, obviously I signed up to the newsletter of this website which sold this book, and on Black Friday I got a mail saying free shipping worldwide. And I was like, okay, let's try. Seeing that lockdown has eased now, let's try. No, South Africa is still not on the list. And
oh gosh,
the book's origin was, I think, New Zealand, but it was to be shipped to the London warehouse for some reason. Once again, links down below. Website's called Book Depository. You can buy literally any book from it. So then, brainstorm. I've got a Aramix Global Shopper account, so let's just use that. So I essentially bought the book, shipped it from New Zealand to England, England to Johannesburg, Johannesburg to Port Elizabeth. And believe it or not, but that shipping cost me like $180.
That's like shipping something internally in South Africa.
Exactly. And long and behold, I have my How to Dad guide.
Very nice.
Like I say, it's super comical. Let me just move it away past the pug. And I'm just going to open a page. It's like just little, like almost comic style things.
Yeah, that's a very you type of book for sure.
It is the very you type or me type of book. But
I just, before you carry on, I just want to circle back to something about the fact that you managed to get the book to yourself.
Yeah.
And just basically point out to everyone that's watching / listening that I learned while working with Jandré for a couple of years that if there's a way to do something, he will figure it out. No matter how impossible it seems in the beginning or how roundabout way you have to do it, he will get it done. It's like, I think one of my favorite things about Jandré, he will not quit when he wants something.
Oh, that is so nice. That I'm gonna go sleep happy tonight.
First, go read.
Yeah, no, sure. I'll one day we can discuss my Batman Funko Pop that I had to smuggle out of Dubai.
Okay.
My brother's political shirt I had to get out of America, and my 2 lightsabers that I had to get into the country.
And maybe we'll talk about what you did with those lightsabers at your house.
Yeah, I've still got the videos.
Another disclaimer: it was just damage to the house.
Yeah, no, nothing bad, nothing bad. But anyway, so in this book, like all comic stuff aside, every now and again, like every couple of pages, there's like a little dad advice, or he calls it dad advice. And
Okay.
so here's one that's, for instance, hands off my stuff. And then it just talks
Mhm.
about how it's important for your stuff that is important to you, to not just let it lie around, because the chance of a baby getting it and destroying it is like super big. And then
Yep.
it also talks about when it does happen.
Mm.
Like, what did he do?
Well, on that point, I can't remember how old Ivy was. It was like probably a year and a half, even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
She was just like walking at that point. I walked into the bedroom. It was one morning before work. I walked into the bedroom, and I think I had been brushing my teeth or something. And I walk in, and I see her basically next to the bed, but like kind of haunched down. And I like walk around the bed to see what she's doing, and she's got my watch face down on the floor, and she's just going like this, rubbing it on the floor. Like, okay, cool. I guess that's something you do. But yeah, it's exactly that. Like, I mean, my watch was on charge on my bedside table, so I couldn't really have done much about that. But to the point that if it's reachable, they will reach it, and then they will do they'll do whatever they want to it, and they will wreck it. There's they're not gonna, they won't use it properly. Put it that way.
That's why I'm gonna have artificial intelligent cameras just in this house, like tracking his every move. Like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, except once they start walking, you'll be surprised how fast they move.
Just like,
Your reaction time is nothing compared to how quickly they can get around.
Get home at 4 o'clock. It's like, I can't believe the cameras didn't do anything. Socks over the cameras. Okay.
Yeah, remember he is made of your DNA, so
Oh yeah.
you're in trouble.
Okay, so How to Dad, YouTube aside, then I wanted to have something which I could look at different baby gear. And I mean, Shaun, you would agree with me, in South Africa, the stuff we get here is not really the stuff that you get overseas. So you can go onto YouTube and Google best baby monitor for 2021 or whatever, and you'll get videos showing the Nanit Plus and the a Lollipop and the Angel Care is actually one that's in SA, but
Yes,
you get like all the nice things.
it's very limited. I must, like, now that you're mentioning that, actually, you've reminded me of something. I don't know how much better it is now. Doesn't sound like it's much better based on what you're saying. But I remember being very annoyed by like how super limited your choices were when you wanted to go shopping for baby stuff. Like there's literally 2 or 3, I would say, shops that you could go to. And yeah, I just didn't think it was right. Yeah, it just didn't feel right now that you mentioned it.
So with that now, then every now and again you find like a specialized baby shop that's got the Nanit on. But you can also see that the site is showing out of stock and that the site's not really been active for like 2 years. Because obviously their baby grew up and the person that ran the website lost interest.
Yes.
So you do get that as well. And I found that South Africa, especially with baby monitors, and I'm not trying to pick on the baby monitor industry in SA, but it's a lot of Indian import rebranded products. Like, and I'm not even going to mention the name of this company because it could be cool sponsor, but there's a specific one that we'll chat offline about. So yeah. But anyway, so I found this
Yeah,
other.
I'm not a
Yeah.
sorry. I'm also not a fan of like I'm not. I love South African products, but I don't mind imports at the same time. But
Mm,
I'm not a fan of like imported and rebranded. It just
yes.
feels like underhanded to me. It
If
doesn't.
Yeah, if you are gonna do a baby monitor, a South African baby monitor, you're gonna make sure that the motherboard is bought in China. You're gonna make sure that the lens is imported from France, and you're gonna make sure it's assembled in Johannesburg or in East London or wherever there's an electronic manufacturing plant.
Mm,
Then you can rebrand it. But don't give me something that's completely made in China, shipped to India for
shipped. Yeah.
whatever reason, then
Yep.
rebranded, reboxed, and shipped to SA. No, thank you. I will not buy
No.
things like that. Um, um,
Unless you don't have another option.
unless I don't have another option. That was a cool thingy. It's a HDMI to USB like little adapter thing for cameras and whatnot. Okay, anyway, so I found this guy on YouTube called Dadverb.
Mm.
He went by the name of, and I'm gonna butcher his surname now, but it was something like Toy Reviews, but his surname is spelled Tui or Tiu, whichever. His name is Andrew,
Okay.
and he does like a lot of these reviews of testing out baby monitors and all that type of stuff. But he also does videos on essentials for babies, things like
Okay.
swaddle wraps versus your normal swaddles. Also, South Africa, what the hell? Swaddle wraps is the most difficult thing to find. I'm at the moment going to import from Amazon at $18. No, I mean,
Ugh.
I can find it in SA, but it's like $500 for one in South Africa. I can import a set of 3 from eBay for $18. You know? By the way,
Mm.
if you want, you must let me know because I'm going to do it next week.
No, because with Ivy, we literally tried twice with her, and
Mm,
she absolutely lost it both times. So
no,
she hated being swaddled.
no, I'm going to get the one where you put the arms in and you take it like that and they don't have a choice.
No, that she couldn't handle having her arms tied down.
Oh, she had arms up, baby.
Yeah, or just out,
Okay, okay.
up and out.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, so I watched Andrew's videos, and that kind of like helped me. And then it gives you at least ideas to work towards something. Like I got the idea from him on doing the baby smart room, which I'm busy
Mm.
setting up, which we'll do a video on sometime once it's done. I sent you some previews of the light and all that. Um, every now and again, I just walk in and I like, hey, GOOGLE. I can't say it because it's going to activate. Um, turn on light and it like
I'm
turns
so
on.
surprised it doesn't recognize that.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, so yeah, that was the adverb, and then the other thing was just the lack in like reviews of products in that's sold in SA. Like I wanted
Mm.
to check out reviews on the Joy Lightrax 4 and the Muse LX so badly, and I just couldn't find anything. I might even end up making some to help other people out. Because
Mm.
like I explained in our pilot episode, um, the I found out with my own research and reading specs that the Muse LX and the Lightrax 4 was essentially the same thing. The one had suspension, the one didn't have suspension, and the one was made for like people that wanted to spend extra money for nothing versus people that are sensible. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it was
if
like
you want to
all the
go
bells
for
and whistles versus not.
yeah, but if you want to go for the Lightrix 4, Joy is an amazing company, and if you are watching this,
Oh, no, I know that we're gonna look back at these videos and we're gonna hate ourselves.
yeah, no,
Anyway, but for now we'll keep doing it.
sure. But yeah, so on my side. Oh, and then the last one, I'm gonna really just touch base on it, is I was looking for a podcast for dads. Now, if you funny enough, and now looking back, I started with searching podcasts for dads, and
Yeah.
then I found podcasts that was like for that people that had kids that was like old, and the first episode was about how they mistreating them and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm not really looking for that. So I started looking for
You're hoping to skip that altogether.
yeah. So I was looking for a podcast for dad to be, and I didn't really find anything. Like, if I can't listen past the first, call it 10 minutes of a hour and a half podcast, then I'm not too interested. And then I decided to type in podcasts for gaming dads, and I found one called Dads in Gaming, and they do pretty much the same setup as we do on YouTube by recording their little videos and everything, and then they also upload to like every single platform that you can think of. I think they've got like 10 times more logos than we do on the Listen to Us section. But it's basically run by a guy called Octane Pro, who's a YouTuber and a YouTube streamer. And I know he does a lot of work with Rogue Company, or like the game, and he, every now and again, live streams with his kids. So he would like to Mario Kart live stream with his daughter.
Okay.
And like
That's cool.
Like it's cool. Like his daughter would be like dead last, and he would be so uplifting with them. And then there's another guy called Clock9, which is spelled very weird. And then a guy called Darth X Goldie. And the cool thing is they're all dads. But different type of dads. So the one is a full-time streamer, and he's got a couple of kids of his own, and he's got an adopted kid from either his brother or his sister. The other one is a working dad in a manufacturing plant where they manufacture buses.
Okay.
And
nice.
the other guy is a working dad in e-commerce. So it's like very a broad field, and and most of the time they chat gaming, but most of the time there's like a little stuff that pops in about the kids and how they're doing and all that type of stuff. But for me, it's more like, after listening to that, it's like not really giving me a sense of how the birth is going to go or what to expect, but more like stuff's going to change, but you can still keep doing what you're doing. It's just how you adapt to it. I mean, in one of the episodes, the guy's like talking, and the next moment you just check him get up and leave. And he comes back with the baby, and it's like, yeah, sorry, baby's crying. Continue.
Yeah.
You know?
No, look, that happens all the time. I remember playing online with my brother-in-law, and even with guys now, or dads now, like, you might hear some like screaming or crying in the background, especially if it's at night. And then all of a sudden, all you hear is FK, FK, and then somebody's gone, and they don't even need to tell you. You know that they need to go settle their child down, or help with something, and then they'll be back at some point.
That's a cool.
So it's like an understanding.
Yeah,
don't apologize. Don't do anything.
That's a clan tag we should start. AFK dads.
Yeah.
Or dad AFK.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
But yeah. Anyway, that's my my guided guide to finding a dad guide, which is not going to guide you at all, but it's going to entertain you for at least a good 9 months while you're waiting. So yeah, with that, I see we've hit the 40 odd something mark. Shaun, if you will do the honors of doing the like and subscribe tonight while I just pull up what our next episode is about. It's all yours.
Okay, well, like Jandré just said,
let's not make this a blooper reel.
Let's not make this awkward. Anyway, so like Jandré just said, If you enjoyed watching this or listening to this, depending on what platform you're on, give us a like and or a subscribe, and add the little bell. I think somewhere below this video, that side maybe. I'm going
it's
completely the
somewhere
wrong way.
for
Somewhere there
notifications.
for notifications. Yeah. But in the interim, these videos will probably come out, the podcast will probably come out every Sunday or Monday. So around that time, you can look out for it.
Perfect. Thank you. That was a brilliant one. So our next episode is going to be basically first baby shopping. What are you going to do? What are you going to go buy? How big was the heart attack when you saw the price of things? What are you going to buy secondhand? What are you going to buy new? Are you going to consider secondhand? Are you going to consider taking out a second mortgage on the home, extended credit cards, all that type of thing?
Might learn some new words. There were things that I didn't know existed until we had to buy them. Like compactum. I mean, what is a compactum? Like, why would I?
It's a like
It's never been a thing in my life. It's never been a thing in my life, and all of a sudden we have to. I mean, they're not cheap.
Well, I know why. I inspected our one the other day, and I'll go into a lot more detail next week. But the reason why my one was so expensive, it's actually weighted at the bottom. It's anti-tip. Me, a grown man, cannot tip that thing over alone. Like, obviously, if I pick it up and I tilt it, it will tip. But if I open up a drawer and I push on it, it will not tip.
That's very interesting. And it's obviously also, I'll explain why I'm pointing this out, but it's obviously also waterproof.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I eventually decided that I was not going to buy a compactum. I was like, no, it's not for me.
But that's
so we bought it.
But yeah, no,
exactly.
But
anyway, I'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
Getting carried away.
No, otherwise we're going to do episode 4 now already. So, just on that, before we knock off, before the podcast, Shaun and I did decide or discuss at least that we were going to make a little spectacular decision. To do a live podcast for episode 10. More details will be shared on both our personal pages, Instagram, Facebook. When and if we get the socials up, we'll do it there as well. At the moment, the socials has been not a big driving factor for us, since we've been posting on dad groups and we've been getting quite a big support there. And the reckoning is reckoning. Is that the correct word?
I'm trying to figure out what you want to say next. Our idea.
The thinking is that if you post it on a set group, it's going to be very difficult for people to go and like another page and do another follow link and all that. So we'll probably do it because you have to do it. But for now, our socials are working pretty fine. And shout out to Dads of South Africa for being such an awesome page.
Yeah, very cool group and page.
Yeah.
Did you see the post? I think it was yesterday where they said, "Dads, where are you from?"
Yes. It was today, I think.
Yeah, and I was like, it's literally all over the country, which I thought was really cool.
Wait! I need to go grab that thing. There was one guy I've never heard of this place in my life before. I shall find you. No,
Do you think it was made up?
No, definitely not. Well, maybe I'm just being stupid.
I mean, your geography is not the best.
No, I mean, yes, when that stupid restaurant Rome had an Italian flag, I mean, what was that all about? Oh, there's so many comments now. Why is there so many comments? Okay, we'll post it somewhere, but it was like some place like, uh, that's Bronkhorstspruit. I know exactly. Half of South Africa knows where Bronkhorstspruit is due to some farm stuff that happened recently.
Fair
Um,
enough.
Kuma.
Where is that?
It's apparently a
Did you
place.
look it up?
Yeah, it's apparently Stilfontein.
I don't even know where that is.
Yeah, and then there was another one that I just saw here, um, which is Pringle Bay.
Yeah, I know where that is.
Okay, I don't know. And then the others is for some reason hidden. No
Ah,
idea. Ifafi. It's apparently near Hartenbos. But
okay.
anyway, yeah,
Anyway, shout out to Dads of South Africa, I guess, is
yes,
what we were trying to say.
exactly. And then we got carried away. Expected to happen a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's everything from my side. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one. Shaun did the whole sub, like everything. But
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't already, do it again. And if you have subbed, then click sub again because you're unsubbing. That's something I had to explain to my mom. But anyway, till next week. See you guys. Cheers.
Cool. Thanks, Jandré. Cheers, guys.